So that is our final layout, and I think we're both pretty happy with it.
Hi, I'm on the mezzanine.
So cosy. That threaded rod has been sticking out of the ring beam ever since we took off the formwork. It's been a job that I've been meaning to do for months, but I've just not got round to it. But it's literally taken 5 minutes, so I should have done it a lot sooner.
I'm just making some room so we can get the scaffolding on the back wall, because this week we're going to be carrying on with the stonework around the top of the interior, which is why Victoria had to remove the threaded rod because it's poking out right where we need to rebuild. Last week we got all the stonework done around the purlins, so that's all nicely going off. Hopefully we can get these props down next week or in a few days time maybe. So we've been tweaking the layout and the plans for this place quite a bit over the last few months, because there was just a few bits on the first plan that we weren't that happy with. Now we've thought things through a bit more and we've spent a bit more time in the space thinking about how we'll live in it and how we want our guests to stay in it when they come and visit in the future. But yeah, we spent yesterday pretty much all day finalising all the plans, because although it's going to be a little while till we're actually building and making these things in the interior, there's a knock-on to various other jobs that need to be done much sooner. So it feels good to have got that done, and we're going to share those plans with you a bit later. But right now we need to crack on with this stonework and mix up some mortar. So the mortar's just mixing, and one good thing about making mortar from lime is that you have to let it mix for longer than you would do cement. So buys you a nice bit of extra time to sit down and have a coffee. A biscuit pot. Come.
Am I banned from mixing mortar?
What do you mean? Why?
Well, I haven't actually mixed any since Fairygate.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that debacle. So right now I've put in a plasticizer additive into the mix, but at the time we didn't have any, so sort of easy and cheap alternative. Not the best thing to do, but it's to put a tiny smidge of washing up liquid into it. But Victoria left her own devices to make a mix. I said put in a tiny amount.
I thought you meant, no. So it is a long time ago, so I can't remember exactly, but I thought you said put a little bit of fairy liquid in.
Yeah, and Victoria meant a little bit like how much you'd put if you were washing up pots, just squirting it all in. Anyway, it ended up, as you can imagine, being a very bubbly, very sloppy, unusable mess. You can redeem yourself. You can make a mix, the next mix, either later today or tomorrow.
Okay, that's a deal. I'm good at a bar though. I do good measures. So if that's the face, and that then goes off at an angle like that.
I mean, ideally, things would be as like
regular
as possible, but you just can't always have that.
Okay.
Lightly, and start to make a line, but just don't go too hard. It can very easily
split. I actually haven't done any of the stonework on this build so far, but I've asked Ricky to give me a little bit of a lesson today, both in breaking stone and trying to lay it. So I've come to stonework summer school today, and Ricky's been very patient so far. Well, all that work, and this is what we're left with.
So tomorrow I'm going to give Victoria a quick training session on how to lay the stone because she's never done it before, and there's going to be times where if we can both be doing it, or one person on one side, one person on another, it's going to be beneficial because there is a lot of it to do. So as you come up the stairs and into the mezzanine, this area in that back corner is going to be a built-in wardrobe, clothes storage area. So you're not actually going to see kind of any of this stonework around here. So obviously we still want to get it straight as possible, but this is a good area for her to start and get some practice. So I've just been building up that corner so she can just get started on kind of a straight, flat wall. The corners are a bit trickier because, as you can see here, this one on this angle is going into that wall. You're kind of trying to get them to overlap. So you see that one's going over there. I'm going to build this up and then one will go over there to clamp that down and bring the two walls in the corner together.
I've had to walk away from my stone for a minute because I'm about this far from losing my temper with it. I've been going for about 25 minutes or half an hour and I cannot break it. I don't know what it is. I've obviously not got the right technique, but it's taken a lot of willpower to carry on. But I am going to break at least one more today, and tomorrow morning Ricky is going to blast through and cut loads more. I wasn't sure how sweet these were going to be because they're still rock solid, but they are definitely sweet enough, and I'm going to dehydrate a bunch of my pears because there is no way Ricky and me are managing to eat all of them off the tree, and there's only so many preserves I'm going to manage to make. I've still got room in my extra large dehydrating hanging pouch, so I'm going to make use of that space and get some of these done.
We have a ton of broken bricks as well as a load of bricks that we bought that initially we were going to do the interior walls with, the additional bit on the top. Now we're obviously building it with stone instead, so we've got plenty of them to use as well. So I'm going to use them to pack out some of the space between the top of the ring beam and the roof deck above the rafters. Victoria's just given the garden a bit of TLC before the sun really starts to heat up. So while she's doing that, I'm going to go down and start breaking some stones because we're going to need a lot of them for the coming week or even just for today to carry on building that back wall. So we've just tried to mark out as best we can the new layout and plan because since we've rejigged everything, we've not done this and it's pretty enlightening, to be honest. It's given us a much better feel for the space rather than just being on computer plans. So welcome to our beautiful new home.
So cozy. Every single week in the comments we get asked questions about what our plans are for the place. Things like, are we going to have a mezzanine? You know, what the kitchen's going to be like. And seeing as we've finalised our own plan, we thought now is the perfect time to give you a little glimpse into the future. So I'm stood in our new kitchen location, and this is one of the biggest changes that we've made to the original plan. We've also shifted where the bathroom and living room are going to go as well. So as you walk in the building, you're going to enter into our main living space. You're going to have a big comfortable sofa here, and then you're going to have the kitchen. And it is pretty big for the size of the house, but we both love to cook and especially love to eat. So it's nice to have it as an open, sociable space with plenty of space for the dogs to mingle around. So the kitchen zone is marked out by having this scaffold where a dividing wall is going to be, and then we're also underneath the mezzanine. And then right across this back wall is effectively all of the functional bits of our kitchen, and it's also going to have loads of storage. This whole run is about 3 meters, so pretty decent size for the size of the space, I think.
Yeah, the kitchen was one thing that when we were redesigning this place, we really did consider reducing the size of it, because although we're going to be staying in here whilst we renovate the main house, not sure how many years that's going to be for, but when we're up in that main house, all this is going to be is a guest house for friends and family when they come and stay. So they're not going to need a huge kitchen. However, for us to live in here for a few years, we definitely need that space, because there's certain things we want to compromise on, but I think the kitchen size is not one of them.
One of the reasons that we added this dividing wall is just to give us more options about how to configure the kitchen. One of the best things though about it is that it's actually given us the chance to have a breakfast bar along here, and that's going to double up as a workspace as well. So that is a big win from what we previously were actually missing anywhere to eat up to. How does it feel under there?
Surprisingly roomy. This is effectively going to be our ceiling height underneath the mezzanine in the kitchen. I'm 6'2", and I was a bit worried it was going to feel a bit tight, but actually, like, that's fine. It's still going to be the double height ceiling up in the front. Lots of light coming in here. I'm pretty pleased with that. This also doubles up as a space to put our telly on. Have it on extendable arms, you can kind of pull it round and get the right angle.
A lot of people in the room, you need more space. Voila, right into the wall.
Wow. So then, yeah, this is all going to be one big open space. Like I said, telly there, nice sofa here. We're thinking underneath the window, chaise longue. So it'd be quite nice to sit here, have your feet up, look out the window. This is one thing with the building that we really wanted to achieve. This is a small space, and what we didn't want to happen was it just feel like one room. We want spaces to be defined. So the kind of mezzanine bedroom up at the top is going to be semi-enclosed. Then the kitchen and this open plan living space is also going to be one kind of open space with the double height here.
So we've made a little corridor here, so the bathroom's nice and tucked away from the main living space. And here, if I reverse, I'm now in what is going to be a nice big storage unit. So that is going to be right up to the height of the mezzanine, and then down, further down low, we're going to have one of the dogs housed in here. Housed?
Yeah, it's going to be open. They're not going to be behind a cupboard.
No, they're going to have their memory foam bijou bedroom down here. One of them is. So if you want to come into our bathroom, it's going to come out a little bit further than the scaffold, and we're going to have, excitingly, a toilet, a shower, and a separate hand washing basin.
This is our stairs being illustrated here. The toilet is actually going to be partially under the stairs to try and get as much out of that kind of extra space as possible. It doesn't need the massive head height.
So this is where our shower is going to be, and although the headroom underneath the mezzanine is plenty tall enough for Ricky to stand under, by the time we've actually got the plumbing work and the shower pan, there's not going to be enough space for the shower head to actually come out and Ricky to be able to stand underneath it. So we've had to come up with a slightly creative solution. This section of the ceiling is going to be lifted and it's going to encroach slightly into the mezzanine height, but basically it's going to mean that it's going to be a very normal height for Ricky to get under there. I know Ricky commented that there were a few things we were willing to compromise and those things that were out of bounds to compromise on, and the staircase was one of those things. We didn't want to be negotiating a ladder, or I think I've seen those one-step alternative staircases. I can't coordinate that, so I'm not putting one of those in. So this is the location of where you're going to start ascending our staircase, and it's going to be like a dog leg. So you go up a few stairs and then you'll turn and go here. Underneath will be the second doggy cabin, and then above that there'll be space for more storage.
So as you've probably seen from the layout so far, it's not just designed for us, it's designed for the dogs to have a nice comfortable space to be in as well. And one feature that we really want to pull off is to have kind of a flat landing space on the corner of that staircase where the two staircases meet, because back in our old house in the UK, Ted's favourite spot was to sit on the landing at the top of our stairs, hang his paws over the edge of the first step. He used to absolutely love sitting there, so hopefully we can pull that off, and it's going to be just the right height that it can also look out the window. Hi. I'm on the mezzanine. So as you come up the L-shaped staircase, you're then going to come up onto the mezzanine. This scaffold's a bit longer than what the mezzanine's going to be. The mezzanine is full width, the long width of the building, so all the way from one side to the other. So kind of from the front here, kind of halfway down the ridge, all the way to where this purlin is, I'm going to be able to walk pretty comfortably. Victoria's probably going to be able to walk a bit closer to the wall.
I'm not going to have any problems.
Yeah, this area then kind of behind the purlin as the head height starts to disappear. In this corner it's going to be up to the top, built-in storage so we can have kind of hanging space. And then as you go around the corner, it's going to be again more storage, drawers, and an area where kind of Victoria can get ready in the mornings. And then at the opposite end is where our bed is going to be. It's basically the same as what we had on the previous plan. We're only going to be up here for sleeping, so nighttime and the morning. And yeah, we just want to keep this space as simple as possible and maximize the space downstairs. So those of you who saw the first video we did on the layout before we actually started any of the building work in here, you'll notice one feature missing, and that is a wood stove. We were kind of struggling before to find one that was the right size and fit it in, and the more and more we've thought about it, you know, this isn't going to be a main living space in the long run. It's meant to be a guest house. When people come and visit, it's likely going to be during the months where you are not going to need a wood burning stove. So we would be going to all the effort of giving up the space for this thing, fitting in the flue pipes and everything else, plus the cost of it. They're pretty expensive, all just for us to be in here temporarily while we do the main house. We definitely want a log burner, and we're going to put one up in the main house when we do that, because there's a lot more space up there and it will be our permanent home. So whether it's from the aircon unit or a kind of movable gas heater, which we've had in the main house for the last few years, there'll still be some way of heating the space as and when it's needed.
So that is our final layout, and I think we're both pretty happy with it. It was good on the computer, but I think having it all physically marked out in the space is very helpful.
Yeah, getting a feel for ceiling height, where the stairs are going to be, it feels good. We were happy-ish with the previous design, but something just didn't feel quite right about it, and I'm so glad that we tweaked it and like gave it another, rethink, because I love this. So I'm looking forward to actually getting it built and done and living in here and experiencing it and sharing it with friends and family. But yeah, a lot of building work to do first.
You can say that again.
Yeah.
Did I redeem myself?
Yeah, you're all good. Just need to get this clean, and then we'll go and have stone laying 101.
Can't wait.
Victoria's first stone. How was that?
Difficult. It's really difficult. Just none of this randomness makes sense to my brain.
You'll get there. Just practice.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're planning on having a medium-sized, like recessed niche in the wall up by the bed, because it's going to be fairly tight up there. There's not really going to be space for bedside tables or anything like that. So by having this niche up there, it gives us a little bit of space to put phones, put drinks, put a book, things like that. So we don't have the materials right now to build the finished product. However, we kind of want to put a placeholder in so we can build the stone around it, and then we'll build the final niche in there. The only wood we had was much bigger than we really need. So just going to put this chunky piece up for now. I'm going to fix it to the rafters so it's just kind of floating, and then we can build the stonework around it when we get there. Victoria is doing an excellent job here with the stonework. I think this is your calling more than breaking the stones.
Definitely that, yeah.
So now that that niche placeholder is in, I'm going to jump up on the scaffold with Victoria and try and get as much of this stonework done today with the mortar we've got left. So we're going to leave you here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. So bye, Victoria.
Bye, Victoria.